I'd produce a bunch of, pied females, keep them back, produce a bunch of albinos and all that stuff to kind of, stuff that I needed to grow way back 20 years ago. And I'd keep them, and it would piss people off. They'd be like, Corey won't sell me females. And it's like, I'm keeping them for me. And I've got a birthing record on my website. So the birthing record's a blessing and a curse, because it's a blessing because, I've got a lot of long-term, customers that buy from me every year. I produce quite a few animals a year, and, I end up, having a lot of repeat business outside of Canada. So I can just say to all those people, whether they're, North America or Asia or wherever, to say, go to my birthing record, you can see what I'm producing. So it's good that way. But it's a curse that people can be like, I see what you're producing. I see what you're going to sell me. And it's like, no, I'm keeping for me. So, it's bad that way, to be like, well, you're seeing some of my holdbacks and I'm just not selling them. Now, with that said, everything is for sale, but you may not like the price. If I'll sell you my house, I'll sell you my truck, I'll sell you whatever, but
price.
There's a price to it, and it's going to be, if it's something I don't want to sell, it'll be a high price. And it's not to say that it's necessarily worth that, but the more it
means, the more the green. You know what I mean? So that's just how it works. If it means that much to me, then I'm going to ask for more. That's just kind of how it works. You know what I mean? And that's what I respect about this game, Corey, is that you could come in, build your own foundation, and sell what you want for however much you want. It doesn't matter. It's your production. Yeah. And one thing that, because I am a salesman, dude, but I'm also real as fuck. Like, I was one of those salesmen who told you straight up, these are the numbers, you know what I mean? But my personality is what I try to, win over with the people, is let them know I'm a real person. I'm not just trying to fucking sell you something. But at the end of the day, so that's my background, right? I came into this and I would see how there would be people getting blasted for certain prices that they would do. And oh, he's ruining the market or stuff like that. But I'm like, I look into it, I'm like, but that's his snake. Like he waited 3 years to make that snake. Like, that's his snake. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, how about you make that snake and you price it what you want? There you go.
Well, and that's what people don't realize. So, if I produce some pieds, how many pieds in a year are sold? 1,000, 10,000, like, how many pieds are sold? So if I produce 50 or 100 pieds, it's not even like scratching the surface of the amount of pieds that are sold every year. So, to say that, oh, somebody's wrecking the market because they have 2 animals for sale, it's like, how can they wreck the market? Okay, they sell those 2 animals and now they're sold out. And so it's like, okay, you want to produce something that's, in demand and, selling right now for half price. Okay, when you're sold out, they're gone. And that's, the reality of it. And so if somebody calls me and says, oh, hey, somebody's got it for cheaper, it's like, well, then go to them. Like, get it from them. And that's, yeah,
I hear you, man. But anyways, it's just a lot of the complaining too. Like, I don't know if I'm just really good at just not looking at it now, but a lot of the blasting and complaining that I used to see was a lot of 2017. Like, it was a lot of this industry's come a long ways, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, I don't know how much you pay attention to it, but man, it's blowing up. Like, there's a lot of fucking reptile podcasts out there. This is the coolest one, so congrats. But there's this, there's a lot of information out there now, and it's crazy. It's amazing. It's fueling the passion people didn't even know that they had. I didn't even know. I mean, I always knew I loved animals. Like, I've been put in positions where I knew, well, I would love to work for animals someday, but I didn't know it was going to be to this extent. And this all happened over the course of 4 years too. Like I said, when I stumbled across your page, Corey, I had 2 ball pythons and I was fighting 2 different directions on what life I wanted to live. And I was just in a really fucking rough place. So I would have just never knew, it would have led to this. So this is, it's like I'm saying, this hobby has been industry has been a big blessing in so many ways. Again, it can only be a curse the way you want it to be a curse. You know what I mean? And the only cursings I want are like, you know, hatch ratios and fucking, you know what I mean? Like those are the kind of, you know, and nobody wants that, but I mean, those are the only kind of problems I really want, or fucking, damn, I should have hit that, or I should have hit this. But trust me, dude, I breed chondros, so I got plenty of problems. I got plenty of fucking, I mean, you mess with chondros at all? Have you ever messed with any of them?
So I learned years ago, chondros and me just don't work.
Tell me why. Please tell me why, so a lot of people could understand this. Let's hear about it, if you don't mind.
So I bet you I started keeping chondros. Don't quote me on this. 98, maybe 99. I bred them, you know, 3 or 4 years in a row. I, you know, bought I had, I don't know, 8 or 10 of them. You know, I bought them as babies, grew them up, you know, had them for, you know, a while, and then I would breed them. And it's like, if I bought the adults as babies, it's like, okay, you know, established babies, grew them up to be adults, breed them. I could do 9 out of 10 steps right. So it's like, I grew them up, you know, I got the adults to breed. I got the female to ovulate. I got the female to lay good eggs. Yep. I incubated those eggs. I got those eggs to hatch. I could get those babies to eat. I couldn't get those babies to live. And so then you would be like, okay, you know, maybe that was just a bad clutch. I'll try again next year. Same thing. You know, you get right to the babies hatch. The babies are eating. They would die well in the process of eating. They would like eat and then die. And it's like, I'm using like pinky mice, and I bet you I bred them about 4 or 5 years in a row. And then I just decided, you know, green tree pythons are just not for me. You know, I can do 9 out of the 10 things right, but that last step, like get babies to thrive, I just couldn't figure it out.
And getting them to eat is the hardest step. That's the hardest step.
I could get them to eat. I would have them like eat a pinky and mouse, and 2 days later they open up the bin and they're dead. And it's like, okay, I'm misting them. I'm doing, you know, everything that I think is proper for them. It's like I grew up the adults from babies. It's like again, it's like I'm really good with aquatic turtles. I am not good with tortoises. Tortoises hate me. And back in the day, I had some Egyptian tortoises, and I had some Russian and Greek tortoises. And it's like, you'd go in and one's flipped over under the heat lamp. And it's like, and then one would randomly die and the other ones are eating it. And it's like, no, I'm really good with aquatic turtles, but tortoises, it's like, a lot of people do great with tortoises. Tortoises and me do not get along. So, but I mean, I think everybody has to kind of, you know, find what you're good at. And in the process of trying to find what you're good at, you're going to find what you're not good at. So for me, it's tortoises and green tree pythons.
Okay. Respect. You know, but just so you know, like it's always something with the chondro, you know, it's like chondros equal people like, okay, what I like to say is green tree pythons equals people don't know. Like nobody knows. Nobody really knows why the fuck a chondro will ovulate and just die, or nobody knows why fucking female will be locked to a male and the female gets scared and rips the dick out of the male. Like, yes, that's a true story, by the way. Like there's just horror stories. There's just terrible stories with chondros, even with emeralds. I think of boreals in general. You know what I mean? They're just like we're breaking the rules too much. I feel like we're literally like, you know, they're not in the wild. I'm sure there's just things they could get away with in the wild and that make them survive. But you bring them in here and it's a different ball game. Like the shit we feed them, everything's different. You know what I mean? So some are meant to live, some are meant to not live. And what's crazy is the people who are successful, like the ones who post clutches of chondros and stuff, a lot of people don't understand that those people go through a lot of bad clutches, or they go through a lot of like, dude, at the end of the day, people deal with more dead chondros than hatching out alive chondros. Period. Every breeder will tell you that too. They will always tell you that. You know, you look, I remember seeing a clutch of Bill Stiegel, shout to Bill. He posted a clutch one time that went 15 for 15. 15 eggs, all fucking 15 came out perched, looked beautiful. And I'm like, so obviously, like, you can be perfect at it. And then when I went to go visit Bill in Texas, he was like, no, he's like, I have a lot more dead chondros under my belt than I do successful alive ones. And at the end of the day, that's what it is, bro. Like, it's what you have to deal with. And a lot of people just don't have that gut. Like, you know, for instance, you got tired of seeing them die, and a lot of people fight through that and just try to figure it out. But you were just like, hey, listen, I'm not good at this, or I don't want to continue to go through this. You got real with yourself. And a lot of people just can't get real with themselves, or just basically are just selfish and don't care and still want to do something that they're not good at. Teach their own. You know?
Yeah.
That's a good, you know, it's good to know. Now, do you remember what kind of localities or what it was you were working with, or were they just like, you know, really cool looking? Or